Artist. It's Miss Puckett here with another friendship bracelet of the week. This time we're getting a little bit advanced with our chevron or arrow pattern bracelet. Now what makes this more advanced than our last bracelet, the candy stripe, is that it includes a new knot. So we make a forward knot on this side, but on this side we make a backwards knot, which is not the number 4 we are used to. So I'll be teaching you that new knot today, and I'll be teaching you how to make this nice arrow or chevron pattern. Enjoy! So for today's pattern, we are going to need 5 different colors. It has to be an odd number, so 5 works out really well for beginners. If you've done this before, you can do it with more strings if you would like. So 7 colors would be good. And so I have 5 colors here: red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And I am going to need 2 of each. So 10 strings all together. That's twice as big as the last one we did. So watch out, world. We're getting advanced here. Take all 10 strings, about the length of your arm, and tie them with a knot at top. Secure your string onto either a safety pin and pin it to something sturdy. Use a clipboard in order to hold it down, or you could use some tape in order to tape it down to the table. Just make sure you're not using duct tape to hurt everything. And once you get that clipped in securely, it'll be time to start your bracelet. Now, the very important thing for this bracelet is when you make it, you have to divide your strings into mirror image. So what I mean by that is you need a color in the center. So I'm going to put my blue in the center, and now if I want to go rainbow order, I'm going to make sure that my green one goes on each side, yellow one goes on each side. If your strings get a little bit tangled up at the top, that's okay. Don't worry too much about that. You can always fix that later. Or you don't need to fix it at all. The bracelet will kind of take care of that. Orange comes next. And then red on the outsides. So if you I'll disregard it at the top because that's a hot mess. But if you look at the rest of it, we have our strings arranged symmetrically. So if I divide a line right here, I've got one set of the rainbow, but this side is backwards from that side. So like mirror image, we've got our strings all arranged. Once you have your strings in order, then it's time to start our knots. So your job for this bracelet is to take the outside color and bring it into the middle. So just like our candy stripe last time, we're gonna take this red string and knot it around all the colors until it gets into the middle, and then stop there. So, and remember, whenever you start out a bracelet, it always ends up a little awkward at top until you get a few rows in. So if it looks strange now, don't worry, it'll sort itself out. So going in rainbow order, I'm going to take my red string and do the number 4 knot right around it, and pop, and do it twice on that string. Get rid of the orange, since we're going in rainbow order, and now the yellow. Number 4, wrap around, pull tight. Number 4, wrap around, pull tight. Yellow onto the green. Number 4, wrap around, pull tight. Number 4, wrap around, pull tight. The last one is blue. Number 4, wrap around, pull tight. Number 4, wrap around, pull tight. And you're going to want to pause there just for a second So you can look up at your strings up close. See how it's a little bit funky going on? So what you want to do is you want to make sure your strings are creating the arrow. So if you need to just use your fingers a little bit to pull all of the knots so it looks like it's coming in towards the center, that's what you want. And then I have all of these strings to do. So now we're going to take this string and move it in so it gets back to its other buddy on the other side. Tuck this in tight. Now, you don't need any of those. Those are already done. We need this side. So we have them in our rainbow order. Red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And our job is to get the red to go into the inside to meet its buddy. And we're going to do that by making a backwards knot. A backwards knot is simply a backwards number 4. So we're going to take our red string and make a backwards number 4. Do you see the 4? The orange is the long stick that goes through it, and the red part is the part of the 4 that crosses over. And we're just going to reach through and pull it tight. And when you pull it tight, make sure you're pulling the knot so it's going towards the center. That's going to keep it being a backwards knot. So make the number 4 go backwards. Reach through and pull it tight so it's going in towards the center. Where the ones are. And now we're done with our orange. So we're going to make the backwards number 4 around the yellow. Reach around and pull it tight. Backwards number 4. Reach around and pull it tight. And we're done with the yellow. Onto the green. Backwards number 4. Reach through. Pull it tight. Backwards number 4. Reach through. Pull it tight. Last one is our blue. We're gonna reach through. Pull it tight. And reach through. And pull it tight. So now all of our strings have shifted one position. So now orange is on the outside, so then it goes orange, yellow, green, blue, and red's in the middle. But we're not quite done yet, because if you take a closer look, our reds have a nice arrow shape pointing down towards the center, but our center is wide open. If we only do this, then our bracelet is going to be 2 separate bracelets. I mean, that might be cool if you want to do that, but it's not quite what we want here. So we've got to take our 2 red strings and tie those together so it closes our arrow at the tip of it. So, get this in one more time. Get in there. So I'm going to take this, and it doesn't really matter what you do here, but I'm just going to take the left hand and make a forward knot and do 2 forward knots. Now even these reds just switch positions. So now if I look close at what my chevron or arrow pattern looks like, it ties together in the middle. And that way my bracelet doesn't separate. All right, and that's actually the last step for this bracelet. Now you just repeat and repeat and repeat with all of the other colors until you get a bracelet that is long enough to fit around your wrist. Now that we have our first row in, it's going to look a lot nicer and a lot cleaner as we tie our knots into our bracelet. So once you get this base V shape for your chevron in, then the whole thing becomes a little bit easier as you tie your knots. So I'm going to do one more row, normal speed, just so you can really see how the knots go on. So with my orange over yellow, I'm going to tie the 2 forward knots, the 2 number 4 knots. 1, 2. And now that you've got this in, make sure you're tying them tight. Your knots push all the way up against the next row to give you that nice, even look. 2 and 1, 2. All right, my orange string is now in the middle. So now I gotta get its buddy to come visit it. So I'm gonna do that backwards number 4. And pull it tight. Backwards number 4. Wrap around. Pull it tight. It's a little awkward at first to get the backwards number 4 or the backwards knot. But once you do it enough times, you'll get the hang of it. It becomes just as easy as the forward knot once you do it enough times. And the last one, red. 1, 2. And now, very importantly, tying the 2 oranges together to make the tip of our chevron arrow. So I'm going to do 2 forward knots at this time. 1, 2. When we take a closer look, you can see another row of orange knots pressed tightly against the red. If it's a little bit loose, you can just use your fingers to tighten it a little bit and make it a little neater. And there you have it. That's how you do a chevron arrow. It's a building base to some of the more complicated bracelets that you'll find online. But as soon as you know the forward knot and the backwards knot, you can do any of those bracelets you see in the YouTube tutorials. All right, that's how you make the Chevron Friendship Bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll show you how to do the rest of it in Fast Mo.